Hey everybody, we are back for another episode of You Can't Come Over, but You Can Come In. And for the first time on one of these, I have a duo. I don't know how this is going to work, but we have Maddie and Tae with us today. So,
Hello.
hey. So are you guys in Nashville?
Yes.
Nice.
And that's my crazy dog barking. Disregard her.
During this quarantine, have you all got to spend any time together or have you been separated the whole time?
We've gotten to see each other a little bit now more that things have eased up a bit, but we both just wanted to take it as serious as we needed to, and we quarantined, and we had real separation anxiety. The withdrawals were real, and so we've been texting each other, and we actually got to hang out last week, so it's been nice getting to see each other in person. But we write a lot too, so it's been nice.
That is great. One of my questions, I was going to ask you guys later on, but since we started with the separation anxiety, I'll start here. So I was reading that you guys, one of you all was from Texas and one of you all was from Oklahoma, which that right there is crazy to me because I've made the mistake of saying something about Texas and Oklahoma and about had my head taken off.
Why do people gotta be so crazy?
I know. I said something. Yeah. Oh, I mean, it's a bigger rivalry than I knew. But
not with us.
Well, so you guys met at a showcase, correct? And you shared a vocal coach?
Yes. And
I would love to hear about that.
Yeah. Well, I'll make a long story short because there's so much that goes to the story. But basically, I was seeing this vocal coach in Houston when I was a sophomore in high school. And Tae was seeing the same vocal coach, but he had a place in Houston close to my hometown, and then a place in Dallas, which is closer to her hometown. And so we're both going to him separately, met through him, and then met through a showcase that we were both performing at. And he actually turned out to be kind of loony, so we ditched him and then made a band. So
Kind as an understatement.
yeah, I feel like whenever you start your career, especially in the music business, I feel like you can weed out the really funky people pretty quickly. It's not hard to run into some duds.
I know. We always tell people,
Alone.
if a publisher or a manager wants money up front, probably not a good choice.
Yeah.
We had to learn those lessons very early on.
I think everybody has that in some capacity. I've been luckier than most. I haven't ran into a lot of shysters. I mean, a few, but kind of like you guys, got away from them really quickly.
Yeah.
So
Good.
what was it? Did you guys instantly feel like you had a chemistry when you sang together, or did it take a little time?
Our friendship was immediate. The chemistry when it came to singing, so we met when I was 15, about to turn 16, and I did not know how to sing harmonies at all. It was very fresh, very new to me. But I was obsessed with the Dixie Chicks, and they were my inspirations. I knew that they went into the studio and that they came up with their harmonies on the spot. And back then, when I was 15, I thought that was impossible. I just couldn't ever imagine a day where I just walked into a studio and came up with the harmony. So it's funny to be where we are now, but our friendship was immediate. And then when I gradually started, catching on to harmonies and started singing with Maddie, everyone said from day one, it sounds like your sisters. It sounds like there's some kind of DNA. And we felt that in the writing room. We felt it singing together, even just kind of hanging out. It was like, we're soul sisters. And that's why it's been, I think, so effortless for our friendship. Yeah.
Yeah, you feel that. You can feel that I was fortunate enough to play a radio show with y'all in Arizona a couple years ago.
That was so fun.
Yeah,
Yes.
it was a lot of fun. And you can feel that from you. I would guess you two were sisters. And the other thing I love about you guys that you don't always see in a duo or a band is it doesn't feel competitive. It feels like you guys both love the place you're in and you're just making music that you want to make together.
Yes, that I feel like
Thank you.
that.
Yeah.
So thank you for saying that. That is so well said. And I think that's why, like, sometimes with like radio interviews or stuff, they're like, so do you guys fight? And it's such an annoying question to us because we're like, you don't understand the depth of our friendship. Like, we have been sisters basically since we were 15, 16 years old. And like, I know that I have certain weaknesses and Tay makes up for my weaknesses and vice versa. And I think like in our friendship the past 10 years, we celebrate each other's strengths, and we lean on the other when we're experiencing our weakness. It's almost like we always joke, because we were like, I feel like we were married before we got married, because we like, it's like we did business together, we were best friends, we're making music together, and we had to learn like compromising on things, which it's really nice to have someone that has this basically the same vision as you, because most decisions, I can't even remember the last time that T and I weren't on the same page about something, because it's just like, we both had the same vision and the same creative, like, I don't know, wavelength, I guess. And so it's just it's just a blessing, one, to have a friendship like that, and then also to get to travel the world and make music. It's just such a treat.
So you led me to another question I wanted to ask you all. What is different enough about the two of you, and what is similar enough? I did it like it was both. What's different enough that makes it work? Like, you talk about strengths and weaknesses. I was in a band with my mom and some friends early on, but after moving to Nashville, I've never been in a group, but I've been in writing situations that have really worked. And it's because there's enough different and enough similar. So I'd love to hear what y'all's take on that.
I think the most obvious and prevalent is that you're an extrovert and I'm an introvert, and you lean towards more type A and I lean towards more type B. So sometimes I'll come at something with an angle of just pure, all right, this is what it's going to be. And Maddie brings the logical and like, okay, we have to think about this and let's be practical. And so I think it complements each other really well, but our morals are the exact same, which is we've never had to compromise on that. And I think that's why our friendship from the get-go was just so strong, because it was like, you love Jesus, I love Jesus, you want to be honest, I want to be honest, and let's like share this with the world. And so that was kind of like the building blocks for our friendship. But as we learned more about each other and learned more that Maddie's like, she never met a stranger, she can sell anything, and she can sell poop on a stick.
And Tae is a great listener. Like, Tae is literally, like, a couple weeks ago, I had a full-blown meltdown, and my husband was like there with me with the meltdown, and I was like, I just need to call Tae, and I just called her and was sobbing and like letting it all out. And she's just such a good listener, and that's a trait of hers that I wish that I try to practice, to be a better listener.
It really is the yin to the yang. I mean, there's just no other way to describe it.
You can tell, and Tae, I can tell just on this call that you're a great listener, because I was a little nervous before. I thought, okay, how are we going to do this with 3 people? And Maddie, you're also a good listener. I mean, I thought there'd be all kinds of stepping over. So I can see where y'all can compliment each other that way. Maddie, you're probably a better listener than you know.
Oh, thanks. I'm trying.
So here's a question for you guys. I ask everybody that comes on this. You can answer it separately, or together, it doesn't matter, but I'd actually prefer you answer it separately. What is the first song you remember as a child hearing that made you think, ooh, I want to sing songs, or I want to write songs, something beyond just listening?
I would say I still have a very vivid memory of being in the kitchen with my mom, and we had a little TV in the living room, and I watched the I Hope You Dance music video by Leanne Womack. And so that's kind of what kicked it off for me. I loved that song. My Papa used to play blues on guitar, and he was like in bands, like jazz bands and stuff. So he would play guitar a lot whenever I was over there. But the first song where I was like, oh my gosh, I want to be Leanne Womack, and I wanted to be the little girl dancing in the video. That was my dream.
I think it was Aubrey or Anna. It was one of her sisters, one of her daughters. I know her daughters are in that video.
Oh my gosh, I did not know that. I gotta go rewatch it.
Yeah, I think it's, well, maybe, I might be getting some of it wrong, but her daughters are in that video.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. T, what was yours? What was your song?
I'm trying to think. There's, I love Christina Aguilera and Britney Spears growing up. There's so many videos of me singing them. I loved them because I was a shy kid too, and so I think I just loved like their very outward sassy approach to music. But the first song I remember listening to and wanting to learn how to sing was always Martina McBride for some reason. Concrete Angel specifically, I would sit in front of the computer. It's such a sad song, but it's very beautiful, and I would just watch the music video and try to emulate her singing. And that was when I remembered thinking, okay, this is definitely what I want to do for a living. Super young, but headstrong.
It's crazy how things overlap because I'm quite a bit older than you guys. But I remember you mentioning Martina, and I went to a Martina McBride, Tim McGraw concert. Martina opened the show. And I remember the next day leaving that concert and thinking, I'm going to move to Nashville. And it was still a ways away. And this was pre-Concrete Angel, so not making myself too old. But it's funny how music connects us all. Like you talk about that. I mean, I hadn't thought about what a role that played for me till you said that.
Yeah.
And and I Hope You Dance. I remember where I was. I was already living in Nashville, but I remember where I was when I heard that song. Like,
I love songs that do. I think this is just so interesting. I feel like T has the same story, and you just said like both of y'all were like, I'm gonna move to Nashville. Like that was a thought in your head. That for some reason I did not know Nashville really was a thing until I started writing songs. But I think that's why, like, I literally moved to Nashville because Tay said, I'm moving to Nashville. We're 17 years old. We're gonna do it. And I was like, oh my gosh. And I was preparing to go to college in Texas because I just thought, oh, that's like, I don't know if I could make that a job. I don't know if that could pay bills. I probably still need a degree or something. And Tay's like, well, I'm going. And I was like, well, she's going. I guess I'm going. So Tay, I feel like, is the dreamer, and I'm like the planner. Like she's like, here's the puzzle. This is what I want it to look like. And I'm like, okay. And I just kind of like piece it together. So she dreams it, and then I plan it.
See, that's why you guys are perfect. That's such a great story because here you guys, Tay was saying Maddie's the extrovert. I would have guessed you to be the one that was like, we're moving to Nashville.
Oh, girl, no. I think people may mistake my extrovertedness as boldness because I'm not a huge risk taker. I've learned that about myself during this quarantine. Like, I am not a huge risk taker. I love comfort. I like a routine. I like to be prepared. I like to know what's going on. And Tay is like flying by the seat of her pants, like, let's just do it, adventure. Like she kind of like brings that out in me, which is so good to have in a friend.
That is. And you guys started coming to Nashville while you were still in high school.
Yep.
See,
we would have to go every other weekend because Maddie was still in public school at the time, but I had dropped out to pursue music full time because we're only 3 months apart age wise, but when it came to a school year, I didn't make the mark to be in her grade, so I'm a year younger. And I knew that I eventually wanted to move to Nashville, and the year that Maddie was graduating was the plan to hopefully move to Nashville. So I just dropped out, got my GED, so I wouldn't even have to deal with it. But while Maddie was still in public school, rocking school 5 days a week, and then coming to Nashville every other week, her parents would drive us up from Texas and Oklahoma, which for me, it was about 12 hours. For Maddie, it was close to 13, 14.
Wow.
We really wanted to be in town, and I'm so glad that we kind of had to miss out on a lot of the regular high school life, but it was so worth it because I think, we were 16 years old, blonde, coming to Nashville. We had a lot to prove, and we had a lot to say that we wanted to say. And so I think coming to town so much made people take us a little bit more seriously and prove that we were here to stay and wanted this seriously.
And I remember, so Mike Molinar was the one who basically, he was our like first person that was super interested.
He's a good person to have as your first person.
Yes, he's a good dude. He's kind of, looked out for us and been a huge part of our journey. But anyways, I remember, them talking about, hey, if you move up for the summer, you can write songs for 3 months and we'll pay you a draw to write songs. And after 3 months, we'll assess and see if we want to keep you or not. And so it wasn't like, it wasn't presented that harshly. That sounds really harsh, but that's just what it was. But I remember the pivotal moment for both of us. I remember Allison Jones, the head of A&R at Big Machine, she said, if you don't move to Nashville, no one will take you seriously. And I was like, oh, well, I don't want that. And that's kind of what, kind of put everything into motion. We just that's probably the most risky, bold decision I've made in my life, and that's probably like the only one I would say.
So proud of you.
Probably the best one too, like it's probably, great things come from great risks.
Mhm.
So when you moved up, it wasn't just for the summer. It was like, okay, we're moving.
For me, like for my mind, I'm such a like logistical person. I don't think logistical is not a word. Logical and logistic I made into one word. But I'm a very
together. You got to have logic and logistics.
well, so in my mind, I thought, okay, I just, this is what I want to do. This is my dream job, but it's a dream job. Is it actually going to happen? And so I moved, and I did say to my parents, like, hey, if this doesn't work out, if they don't want to keep us, maybe I'll go back to Texas and go to college. I knew in my heart that I wouldn't do that, but I kind of just had to have a plan B just in case, just to like feel better about it. But then every time I wanted to go home or give up or things got hard and I got lonely because we didn't know anyone, just things kept working out. Like we'd write a great song that someone was interested in, or like another door would open, or we would, get a really nice slot on a writer's round in town. And so it was just God being like, just hang in there. I have big plans.
So do you guys remember so you came up and you're writing with people. Was there do you remember a time where it felt like you turned a corner creatively, like maybe a certain couple of people you were writing with or producer, like where you were like, wow, we're really honing in on what this Maddie and Tae sound is going to be?
When we started coming to town, we took writing very seriously. It kind of shocked us how most people in Nashville start writing at 11, because we were like ready to go 9 a.m. write all day till 7 p.m. 3 songs a day. And so really just we had a guy named Aaron Schurz. He was our producer and kind of co-writer, permanent co-writer at the time. The three of us would write together, and he was a great mentor in our lives and really helped us shape what we wanted our brand to be. He would ask us, okay, what songs are you into? Why do you like it? What does it mean to you? And all that stuff, which really just solidified our messaging. But definitely just writing all day, every day. We started to turn a corner in the maturity of our songs. Still at the time, we were freshly out of high school, so a lot of our content was missing home and moving away from home. But I think we just started to write about it in a probably more deep perspective, and our publisher Mike noticed that and then started putting us in the room with other writers. But I think we just gradually became more mature and more confident in our writing, and eventually wrote Grown a Country Song, which is what got us our record deal.
I remember seeing you guys perform it. It was either on Today or Good Morning America. I can't remember which. I think it was
the Today Show, because that was the first time we had ever played with a full band. We were terrified. Okay. We had never played a show just like other than the two of us and acoustic guitars, and the Today Show was the first time.
Trial by fire right there.
Yeah, I was freaking out.
Wow, now that's a fun fact. First gig with the band is the Today Show. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, it was. I think that kind of just describes the insane roller coaster ride that was Growing a Country Song. It created so many opportunities like that for us, and we kind of, we worked for 4 years, which is not a lot of time in this town, but 4 years of this goal and wanting to do this, and then it all just goes bam, and you just take off running, and you just hold on as tight as you can. That's about it.
Well, 4 years isn't a long time, but when you're 17 and you put 4 years on top of that, it's a good chunk of your life. So
totally, yeah.
It worked pretty hard and worked hard leading up to. I mean, the fact that you came to Nashville and those kinds of people like Mike Molinar and Allison Jones paid attention to you guys would tell me that you were further along in your development than you probably knew.
Aw, thank you. Well, it was interesting because, you know, we wrote Girl in a Country Song, but for the most part, we already had the first whole record written, you know,
Mm-hmm.
by the time Girl in a Country Song came out, because we had already, you know, stockpiled all these songs. And so we really just had to pick songs. We didn't really have to write for the first project, which was kind of nice.
That is nice. So I noticed on both of your albums that you guys are co-writers on every song except this last song on your new album, which came out April 20th. I want to make sure that everybody on here that hasn't gotten it gets it, The Way It Feels.
Yeah.
I'd love to talk to you guys a little bit about promoting that album in the time of coronavirus. But before I ask that, do you guys always write as a team?
Pretty
Yeah.
much, yeah.
I feel most comfortable that way. And like like there's been times where Tay was out of town and I was like, you know what, I want to write just to like exercise that muscle in my brain. But it feels weird not having her, like if we're writing for our project, which we really never don't write for it, which maybe we should try something new. I don't know. But it feels right having both of us there.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's probably part of why it works with you guys and why there's not jealousy and weird, nobody's fighting over, well, these are Tay's songs and these are Maddie's songs. I was
Right.
really, I didn't know. I mean, I knew y'all's songs, but I didn't know who wrote what. And then when I saw that, that was really impressive to me. And I thought, that's really smart. Like
Thanks.
the life of a group.
We were a writing duo before we ever really got to be a professional singing duo. So I think that's probably why it just works.
Nice. So 2 more questions. How are you guys feeling about promoting an album amidst all this madness?
I feel like it's. Go ahead, T.
It was definitely not easy, but having waited to release a record, having waited almost 5 years, and at one point not really knowing if a second record was in our future, whatever came our way, we were like baseball glove ready to catch that curveball. But we were just so excited to release a record, and our intention with this record, hence The Way It Feels, it's all about emotions and kind of just encouraging people to feel your feels when you're feeling it and let yourself there and then let it go. Don't be scared to be vulnerable and not be okay. And what better time to release a record like that than right now? We didn't know that it would line up this perfectly and under unfortunate circumstances, but we at the end of the day just pray that our music is hopefully healing in some way during this.
That's a great way to look at it. And you guys have made a really great record that does, have all the emotional feels. I love Die From a Broken Heart. And I love Friends Don't. I heard that a long time ago. I don't know why I heard that. Maybe I work with
my single. Okay. Yeah, it was a single. And then I can't remember which radio friend of ours, but they said that song was too smart. And I was like, what?
See, I feel like I heard before it was even a single, though. And,
okay.
And I work with Mike at Big Machine Publishing, and maybe he played it for me.
Yeah, we wrote it with John Knight and Ebach. So
okay.
I don't know if you're friends with them. Maybe you heard it there, but
yeah, well, it's a great song. Too Smart. I mean, I hate when I hear Too Smart.
I know. I'm like, what? That song is not this like. Compared to the rest of the record, I'm like, oh no, we're in trouble if you think that's the hardest song.
But I would say the second one, didn't it just go number 1?
Or it's about to.
Your lips to God's ears, girlfriend.
I knew it was
like it's number 13 right now, and it's already had a birthday, and we're just like so over the moon. We call it our little song that could, because it's just trying. So I mean, there was times last summer where we were gonna pull the single and we were just like, I don't know if this is going to work. And then just to, come out on the other end, it's just really, persistence and just having a positive outlook on things sometimes really does manifest great things.
Yeah, I think you're right. I try to be that way more. I try to, look at the good and not the bad. You guys seem to be great at doing that. That's one thing.
Not every day. I have at least 1 or 2 pity parties a month about God knows what, whether it's a dog pooped on something, or I don't know, like just stupid stuff. I will have the only reason I bring that up is because we had a dog poop emergency yesterday.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Well, I have probably 6 of those a day. So
Oh, it's so.
Hey, there's still nothing worse than cat pee. I got y'all beat.
Yeah, that is true. Wait, T, will you please tell her the story of the suitcase?
Oh my
Really
gosh.
gross, but it makes me laugh.
And unfortunately, this is not the only time it's happened, but my cats, if I can't leave a suitcase open or on the floor, they will just hop up in there, pee all over it. I don't know why. And one time we had been home for a day, and so I kind of just quickly moved things in and out of my suitcase, not really paying attention to it, but I had left it open, packed it back up. We headed out on the road again, and I didn't know till I got to my freaking hotel. That thing had been festering up in the plane, getting all swampy and stinky, and I open it up in my hotel room, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what is that god awful smell? And I had to take my clothes to the laundromat.
Yeah,
I had to call and specifically say, do you have supplies to get cat pee out of stuff? I'm like, I don't know, you crazy?
my parents raised cats, Persians and Himalayans, and so I love a cat. I'm a little bit allergic to them as an adult.
I am too. I'm
Yes.
kind of allergic.
So I don't have one, but I love them. But several years ago now, I went with a friend to a wedding, and we stayed at her brother's house, and they put me in this back bedroom, and it was terrible. And there was like the smell was awful.
Oh.
It was one of those situations where you're at somebody's house and you don't really know what to say. And there was also this beep that went off all night long, like a smoke detector, but like when a smoke detector battery's going out.
The battery's low, yeah.
Beep. Anyways, it was really not a great experience. And
That's
I said
the
something
worst.
to my friend and her husband about, man, there's a litter box back there or something. You know, I don't know what it is. Well, it turns out the cat had just made that bedroom its litter box. And
So you were sleeping in?
so yes, when I was there, nobody said anything and nobody knew anything because nobody had been sleeping in that bedroom. But later on, we found out that that beep was like an ammonia. I'm taking a look.
Oh, an ammonia detector.
And so I'm always like, how many years did I just shave off my life by the in that bedroom?
An
That
ammonia detector?
is a traumatic experience.
Yes. So there's nothing quite as bad as cat pee.
Wow.
And cats get revenge. You know, like
They do.
oh, they'll go up on a bed if they're upset that you're leaving them pee or poop in the middle of the bed. Their dogs aren't that way usually.
No,
I know, I don't know what's wrong with me.
Yeah, Emmy, if she like, here's my little pup, the one that was making.
There she is. Hi, girl.
And yes, I have PJ pants on.
Oh, I do too. I have sweats on.
It's quarantine.
I
And my Crocs.
I tried to do jeans today just to, feel like, okay, I'm working. Today's a work day. And I put on the jeans and I was like, oh my gosh, that top button, man, is hurting me. And so I was like, this has got, it's hurting my self-esteem that my jeans are tight right now. So we're just going to go with the sweats and call it a day.
I've been told be gentle on yourself right now. So don't be hard on yourself about that top button.
I'm being too gentle. I got chocolate and I'm going to have Chick-fil-A for dinner. I got to get it together.
Well, I have kept you guys a long time, and we have done a lot of. I love that we even got on cat pee in this. It's always,
This is so fun.
I know, music and cat pee, man. Like, why not? Hey, I'm so excited to write together and create something awesome. I have a couple titles that I'm like, I feel like this is a Brandy title because we have been fans since the very first record, even before the first record.
Oh, thank you.
Stripes was insane. I'm so blown away. And then this will be a real good time to hold my hand. Damn, I wish I wrote that. Oh, it makes
Kills me.
We're just
You're so kind. But my last question kind of is that you can't say one of my songs, but
okay.
Song in the last since you've been in Nashville.
Okay.
You think, man, I would give a finger to have written that. Or I would give up to my elbow, or I give my arm, or, I always think would I take a year off my life to have written that song? Like, what's something you've heard? Doesn't have to be country. It can be any format.
Okay, and it needs to be like in the past like 10 years or
Yeah,
so.
I'd say the past 10 years.
Okay.
You
I
go
mean,
first.
the song that I had wished I'd written of all songs is The Bees by Leanne Womack.
Oh,
And that
good
album was
choice.
written, I think that album was '08 or something, so I think that counts.
Yes,
And
great choice. And I love that it wasn't a single. Deep cut.
yeah,
I love that.
hey, I'm an album girl. I am a hardcore album girl. But now if I had to choose something recent, I would pick Chasing You by Morgan Wallen. I wish I wrote that song. It's so great.
Nice.
My all time is House That Built Me.
Good
But
choice.
recently, and I feel bad for saying this, but it's actually my husband's song called Sugarcoat that he wrote for Little Big Town. I am obsessed.
That's a great song. And it's okay that your husband wrote it. He's a great.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm a little biased, but
Or
Well, I will let you girls go. Thanks for being on this. And I will see you at our writing appointment later this week.
yes, thank you so much. This was way too much fun.
All right. And you guys go get their album. Let me look one more time, make sure I get the title right. The Way It Feels, been out in April. Go get it. All right.
Woo-hoo. Thank you,
You're so
Brandy.
sweet.
Bye.
Bye. Hey, I hope everybody enjoys the chat with Maddie and Tae as much as I did. Because of Zoom, it's hard for two people to sing together. It's impossible actually. So there's no music on the episode, and I wanted to do something a little different than I've done before. I wanted to share a new song with you guys. Actually, I got this. It's called an octave mandolin at the beginning of quarantine. Wanted to learn something new. I used to play mandolin a little bit, not much. And this is kind of a mandolin that is a little bigger, so it's got a more of a guitar sound for a mandolin, and a lot of guitar players like to write on it. So I got it and was messing around with it. And one Friday, it was actually a Friday that I did a Friday covers. I got done with the cover session, and I was really inspired by the songs I had been playing, and I was sitting in front of the TV, and the news was on, and it was, the typical news for this time, which was really sad, and it was really bringing me down as I was sitting there playing this little octave mandolin, and I thought, I have got to turn off the news, or it's just going to kill me tonight. And so from that came this song. It's called Turn on the Music. I don't know what'll happen with it beyond just it's a quarantine song, and I hope you guys like it. There's deep, dark depression, global recession. This year's election ain't nothing but depressing to me. It's a war we ain't winning, like plates we're all spinning, 'cause the end of the world saw its beginning last week. I'm beginning to think we should turn on the music, turn off the news. Let's rock to the rhythm of the rhythm blues. Take me to church with a slow country two-step. Ain't nothing to do but hold on to me and hold on to you. Turn on the music. The hate in the headlines is way past the red line. The rough up ahead times got bedtime, losing more sleep. And the faith we can't follow will be here tomorrow with the sad and the sorrow. So let's borrow a sweet memory from a sweet melody. Turn on the music, turn off the news. Let's rock to the rhythm of the rhythm blues. Take me to church with a slow country two-step. Ain't nothing to do but hold on to me and hold on to you. Turn on the music. Make the world go away with a slow country two-step. Ain't nothing to do but hold on to me and hold on to you. Turn on the music. Thank you, guys.